Factorio is a game for smart people, and I am definitely not a smart person. But in this video, I try to beat it anyway. Because you know what? Maybe you don't need just smarts to beat something like this. But I guess we'll see. Oh, and by the way, you probably haven't noticed yet, but I'm actually a very small creator, and just subscribing could help me out so much. Like, genuinely, you have no idea how much it can help a small creator just by subscribing. So thank you so much, and let's get back to the video. So as I said, in this game you have to do a lot of thinking, and the thing is that I'm not very good at that. So the entire idea of this video is to try and test if you actually need a high IQ to be able to beat this game, or if you can actually just learn it all and have fun while being stupid, like me.
What's 9 plus 10?
21?
You stupid!
But ABFlewBy, what is Factorio even about? That's a great question. Let me explain it to you. Basically, you're an engineer that has crash-landed on an alien planet. Your goal is to build a rocket to fly back home. Seems simple enough, right? Well, wrong. In the process of building this rocket, you're going to emit a lot of pollution, and the locals are not very happy about said pollution. And so they will try and stop you by destroying your machines and destroying you. To prevent that from happening, you can build things like turrets and defensive mechanisms in order to keep the biters out of your factory. Basically, committing genocide on the local population. There's 4 main materials in Factorio: iron, coal, copper, and stone. You also have uranium and oil, but these are the most important throughout the game, especially in the early game, because with these materials you can build machines, which build machines, which build more machines, which eventually build your rocket. It's all about automation in this game, which is why items and materials are usually moved around in 3 different ways: conveyor belts, logistical robots, or trains. I usually use a lot of trains very early on in the game, which is something you shouldn't do. I just have an absolute irrational love for trains for some reason. But early game, conveyor belts are the way to go. I've been talking a lot about the early game, because I think it's one of the most important stages of the game. If your factory doesn't have a solid base, the entire thing is going to fall apart. So it's very important to meticulously plan out exactly how you're going to build your base. But if you're like me and you don't plan out anything and just start building randomly without doing any research, you get spaghetti. Spaghetti is bad for a number of reasons. But the main one is oversight, because if you want to change anything in your factory, you're gonna have to tear it down completely. Reason for this is because spaghetti is very messy and very confusing, and trying to fix anything is damn near impossible, because you have no idea how you even built it in the first place. So basically, if you want a structured and well-functioning factory, you should plan how you're going to build it ahead of time. Coincidentally, planning is one of the things that I am worst at, like, in general. So usually in my bases, there will be one part of the base that's very nice and structured, and then another part of the base that's just horrible. Factorio is very deceptive, since the early game is actually not that complicated. Let me explain. Once you've crashed your ship, you can mine it to get some additional resources. With those resources, and the basic ones that you get at the beginning of the game, you can start mining and smelting the essential resources that you are going to need. Place down some more miners, place down some more smelters, and then the first big change to your factory is introduced: electricity. You place down some boilers along with some steam engines, and you've got power, with which you can now power your electric mining equipment, which can mine more ore and mine it faster than the burning drill that you just had. So basically, the electrical gear is faster and more efficient, but it produces more pollution, which then leads to more genocide. From there on out, there's only one thing that you still have left to do, and that's expand. Expand everything. More smelting columns, more mines, more production facilities, more product, and most importantly, more science. Because that is what Factorio is all about: science. Everything that you do in this game is to make science. Because if you research science in a lab, you get new technologies to then expand your factory and ultimately build your rocket. So basically, if we look at it very simply, Factorio is kind of like a cycle. You start by building machines. Those will eventually make research. With this research, you can unlock new technologies, which make new machines, which make new research. You see what I'm getting at here? On the surface, Factorio seems pretty easy. But make no mistake, my friend, because Factorio is the opposite of simple. Especially since they've released the new Space Age DLC, which introduces a whole lot of new types of science, new types of machines, different planets, There's so much going on, which technically also means that launching a rocket is not the end of the game anymore, but we're not going to look at that. Now, there are a lot of important stages in Factorio, but there's one that specifically stands out as probably the most important stage there is, and that is blue science, because that's when the entirety of Factorio changes. Up until this point, Factorio has been pretty simple, but advanced oil processing is like Factorio throwing you into the deep end. You see, with basic oil processing, you put oil into a refinery and you get petroleum gas. But in advanced oil processing, you put oil and water into a refinery and you get both light and heavy oil. Heavy oil is needed to make lubricant, which you can use then to make electrical engine units. The light oil will be made back into petroleum gas by method of light oil cracking. Now, I do have a little bit of a confession to make here. I never got past light oil cracking, like ever. Yeah, it's around this time when I was playing Factorio that I kind of stopped playing Factorio, since I was going to my first year of university and a lot of things happened where through I kind of forgot to play this game. So I guess the question of can an idiot beat Factorio will remain unanswered. However, I do think with enough trial and error, anyone can beat Factorio. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.